So I have a different kind of a triangle. This is a 90, 45, 45 triangle. And I'm going to define my hypotenuse as having a length of 1. And I want to find the length of the other two sides. So since I have equal angles, this is an isosceles triangle, which you can probably see it. I look at isosceles triangles better if I look at them like that. That looks to me more isosceles than when it's on its edge like that, you know, equal sides. We'll put it back. I know that a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And I know that a equals b because this is a, and this is b, and this is c. So I have the two sides are equal. So I know then that a squared plus a squared is equal to 1 squared, because my c is my hypotenuse. So this tells me 2a squared is equal to 1. So I'm going to divide both sides by 2. I have a squared is equal to 1/2. I'll take the square root. I'll stifle all the calls for plus and minus, because it's not going to do plus or minus, because I'm only doing the distance right here at this point in time. I have a is equal to the square root of 1 over the square root of 2. Now I'm going to simplify that. That is 1, because the square root of 1 is 1, over the square root of 2. So I'll take this 1 over the square root of 2, and to get rid of the radical on the bottom, I'll multiply by the square root of 2 over the square root of 2, and I end up with the square root of 2 over 2. So that is the length of side A, the square root of 2 over 2, and that also means that's the length of side B, the square root of 2 over 2. That's okay with everybody? Are we all right with that? Sure? Okay. So let's go back to our unit circle. You know what, let's just do it a little bit more over here towards the middle. That's a little better. Okay. So our unit circle, here's my my radius, which is 1, and this is 0, and I go all the way around to here. So I have this line, I'm going out this way here, and we know that since the circumference is 2 pi r, and the radius is 1, that means our distance all the way around the circle is 2 pi. So if I went all the way around the circle, I can label this also 2 pi, and I could label it 4 pi and 6 pi, or I can label it negative 2 pi or negative 4 pi. But and I know that this over here halfway around then is pi. And I remember that straight up to the top is pi over 2, and straight down to the bottom is 3 pi over 2. And this is my xy axis. Sorry, it's so messy. Xy axis. So I know I have 90-degree angles for each of these little spots right there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bisect those 90-degree angles. I'm going to cut them in half. I go like this. Okay, and we have. And so if this distance right there, that right angle right there is 90 degrees, that means this is a 45-degree angle. And if I take from this point right here on the edge of the circle where it connected, and I drop myself down a perpendicular, I have a 45-degree angle, I have a 90-degree angle, and I have another 45-degree angle. That's going to be just like that. 45, 45, 90 triangle. So that's telling me that, let's call it what it means here. Well, okay. Here's my triangle here. So it's telling me that this side right here, that distance, since my hypotenuse right here is 1, right there is my hypotenuse, this distance is radical 2 over 2. And this distance is radical 2 over 2. This is my x distance for this point. This is my y distance for this point. So the coordinates of this point are radical 2 over 2 and radical 2 over 2. Make sense? Yeah? And since all of these are going to be similar 45-degree, 45, 45 right triangles, oh, I'm sorry, that one looks a little bit crooked. The only thing that's going to be different in terms of the point of each of these spots right here on the circle is going to be the sign, S-I-G-N. So this is going to be radical 2 over 2, radical 2 over 2, comma, radical 2 over 2. However, the x value is going to be negative. And this right here, these distances here, right there and right there, are also radical 2 over 2, radical 2 over 2, except because I have my xy axis right here, these are both negative. And same over here. Radical 2 over 2, radical 2 over 2. My x value here is positive, but my y value here is negative. So those are the points how I would label them on the coordinate plane. So the last thing I want to do with these is, since I know that this is 0, and this is pi over 2, and this is pi, and this is 3 pi over 2, I want to label these points in radians. I want to know how many radians those points are. So I know this is 0 radians, and I remember if I went all the way up to here, I've gone pi over 2 radians. So if I stop halfway right there, well, I've gone, if to the top right there is pi over 2, but I've only gone halfway, then this point right here is pi over 4. And you can also see it because I took the top part of my circle and I divided it into 4 pieces. 1 piece, 2 pieces, 3 pieces, 4 pieces. So this is pi over 4. That's my first pi over 4. This is my 2 pi over 4, which is the same thing as pi over 2. This point over here would be 3 pi over 4. This one right here is 4 pi over 4, which is the same thing as pi. This one right here is 5 pi over 4. 6 pi over 4, which is the same as 3 pi over 2. 7 pi over 4. And then 8 pi over 4, which is the same thing as 2 pi.